Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. So it's the end of a very interesting year as far as the world of gaming goes. The pandemic changed a lot. New games came out. Some games were delayed. We got next-gen consoles that were launched. A lot of interesting things have happened. And evidently Nintendo crushed it. Without even really releasing any major hits outside of Animal Crossing and Age of Calamity and Mario 3D All-Stars collection, Nintendo evidently crushed it to the point where Amazon released their top 10 games, the best-selling games of 2020, and they absolutely crushed it. So, amidst all the next-gen coverage, the PS5, the Xbox Series X, Nintendo has silently been crushing. I believe during the holidays, they outsold the PS5 4-1. Now, that's easy to do when the PS5 is basically hard to get. Okay, the Switch has been sold out though since most of the pandemic. So, very interesting stats going on here. We're going to go ahead and read this article. We're going to look at the top 10 list. Let me tie my hair back and get ready for this because this is very interesting, guys. So, this is going to be the best-selling list of games for 2020 by Amazon. And you're going to see that Nintendo takes eight of the top 10 spots from the US chart. That is amazing. Good on Nintendo on this. You know, I'm a Nintendo fanboy at heart. But it says, as the longest year in history comes to a close, we start to see a range of lists emerge. These lists usually shine a light on the top performing games of the year across Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony platforms. So, this is across all of them. So it says, one surefire sign of how well a game sold is online retailer Amazon's best sellers of the year, something which looks to have everything in its final order. Taken from both Amazon US and Amazon UK, here's how this year's list have shaped up. So let's take a look at this, guys. This is interesting. Now, I don't own all these games, but I own a good chunk of them. So Animal Crossing New Horizons was Amazon US's #1 bestseller. And that honestly, I kind of feel, okay, as far as Game of the Years go, I already knew the Game of the Year awards were going to give Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, like, Game of the Year. It was a toss-up between those two, but I loved that Animal Crossing was at least a contender or a nominee considered for that. There was no way that it was going to win, but a lot of people, myself included, do think that if there was ever a game that was crucial to the year of 2020, it was Animal Crossing. That came out at the perfect time when people were having to social distance around the globe, when people just couldn't interact with anybody. It was a perfect socializing game. It was almost like it came at the right time, in my opinion. You're able to visit with your friends, explore, do certain activities, and just live like a life. If you were stuck inside, depending where you were out in the world of how strict your lockdown was. I feel Animal Crossing did contribute a great bit of happiness to people in 2020. So I'm glad to see that at #1. Mario 3D All-Stars, yeah, that sold like hotcakes. There was a lot of hype behind that game. That game was rumored to be in demand because of its limited production, but there's still plenty of copies out there if you haven't picked one up. 3 of the greatest Mario games of all time. I streamed it on my live stream for like 2 weeks straight, 3 weeks straight. Great game, great franchise. If you don't have it, pick it up. I recommend it. I knew that was going to be there because that sold out. That was sold out for a long time on Amazon. After that, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which it is crazy how well that game is still doing. Almost 3.5, 4 years after it's come out. For it to be in the top 3 best sellers of video games in 2020. Like, it is, and I believe almost every single, like, the owner console to game ratio of that, like, how many Switch owners actually own that game is very high. I think that's the highest, and I think Animal Crossing is right under that. After that, we got Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's still pretty neat there. I think a lot of that's contributed to the players passes, the fire passes that have been coming out still. But that's cool that that's still there. Those 3 and 4 are 2 games that have been out for at least 2 to 3 years each. That is awesome that they're in the top 5. Of course, we also have Animal Crossing's the digital version. So not only did the physical get number 1, but the digital version of Animal Crossing got number 5. So the top 5 are all Nintendo Switch games. Of course, Cyberpunk 2077 was number 6, but we all know lots of people have demanded refunds from that. So who knows if that would affect it. Ring Fit Adventure number 7. I believe that's the only game on this whole entire list that I do not own. Ring Fit Adventure. My fat ass needs to go ahead and pick it up, right? I played it at Wood's house when it first came out. Had a lot of fun. Next one is Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. That's cool. That made the top 10. I'm actually interested to find out a little bit more about that. Last of Us Part 2, number 9. That's crazy that that's actually so far down on the list. And then Breath of the Wild, another old game. So some of these games have been out for quite some time. That was a launch title for the Switch. So for it to be in the top 10, that's pretty good. I guess a lot of people are buying Nintendo Switches in 2020, and they are wanting to play the best of the best. That's probably one of the best Switch games out there. I'm wondering where Mario Odyssey lies after the top 10. I would like to see the next 10. I would like to see the top 20. And you can see the US chart just shows how dominant the Switch has been this year, with a total of 8 of 10 games being on the hybrid console. Cyberpunk's highly contentious PS4 version and Naughty Dog's Last of Us are the only outsiders to crack the top 10. And then here's the UK charts. The UK charts is a little bit more variety. So you can see Animal Crossing is still number 1, but FIFA made number 2. Minecraft Switch 3, that's interesting. Mario All-Stars, FIFA on Xbox, Just Dance cracked the top 10 in UK. That's so weird, the differences in games compared from the US to UK. Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk, and Valhalla, both Xbox and PS4 cracked the last 2. So it says the UK list tells a slightly different story. Nintendo still has a majority, this time shared with Sony, as both companies take 4 spots in the list. As expected, Microsoft takes the last 2. So that's interesting. Microsoft didn't even take 1 slot in the US. FIFA, which is always incredibly popular in the UK, occupies 2 of the 5. Nintendo making the other 3. Valhalla is one of the year's surprise entries. The game topped off the UK Christmas sales. I think a lot of it has to do with it being based in Norway. You know, you get a lot of those people whose ancestry comes from, you know, the game. Pretty interesting, though. The Switch definitely was in high demand and is selling like hotcakes. There's more Switches out there that were bought for the holidays and stuff. Very interesting read, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you on the next